Paula Peters now from DPAC. Paula's going to speak on the impact, how it also impacts on civilians. Paula's an activist who used to talk, excuse me, wants to talk about experience of working at the Ministry of Defence during the first Gulf War. Thanks, Paula.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Paula Peters. It's not something I often talk about, and it's only 3 weeks ago that I actually mentioned to someone that I used to work for the Ministry of Defence. How did I join them? Well, I just got through a bout of cancer and was told I could look for a job. But due to having cancer, and after applying for thousands of jobs, no one wanted me. To them, due to having cancer, I was an untouchable. My mum saw the advert for the MOD and said they're looking for staff, give it a go. I went through what is called a 3-interview panel selection process and was vetted for a security clearance. This means the government check out your background to see if there is anything about you that meant you could be blackmailed. So in August 1990, I joined the MOD. I remember what was said to me on my first day of the job. 6 months here, I was told, you will be unshockable. You'll get used to it. I joined the day Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. It was only later I was able to write a piece of poetry about my experiences about my time in the department, which I called The Reality of War. It was the only way I could describe it. When I had my breakdown at my desk several years later, I was stripped of my security clearance and thrown out of a job. Even to this day, if you have a history of a mental health impairment, the civil service do not want to know. You are a liability, a risk, and therefore discriminated against. What I was left with after my time in the MOD was post-traumatic stress disorder, rapid cycling bipolar, parasomnia, and night terror disorder. For those of you who are not sure what parasomnia and night terror disorder are, you live out your dreams when you are asleep. You need constant supervision because you can be very dangerous if you're woken up. I live the Gulf War experience in my sleep. The war stays with me. I hear a loud bang. I'm back, it makes me jump. I'm back in that room. I feel someone come up behind me when I'm asleep. I've had people up against the wall with their hands, my hands around their throat. I've been told by doctors I may never come to terms with my experiences. This is after 20 years of various talking therapies. The pain is a part of you, and so is the shame of those experiences. You were part of the war machine. You made decisions you can't take back, and lives were lost because of those decisions. I lost my job and had to apply for social security benefits. I was not fit to work at all. I spent several years in and out of hospital, heavily traumatised, scared of my own shadow. Applying for benefits is horrible. I felt ashamed, but needed money to live on. I was on incapacity benefit when in 2010 the current coalition government came into power and announced wave after wave of cuts to the welfare budgets and support services. I lived in fear some more, waiting every day for that letter, that dreaded brown envelope. The stress and the fear of never knowing when you would be assessed got to me. I broke down, tried to take my own life, as several of my friends had already done. I remember my friend Alex, who I used to work with, a former sergeant of 3 para, who was made redundant because of combat stress, who died in 2009. He had terrible depression, anxiety, combat stress. He went through the work capability assessment, was found fit to work by Atos, was denied a fit note by his GP because the DWP told them not to apply, not to give one. He phoned me in a dreadful state, saying he could not go on. It was hopeless. Not to worry about him. The phone went dead. I spent the next few days constantly ringing him. Then the police called. He had jumped to his death at the south coast. He had left a note on a cliff telling the police to let me know not to worry about him anymore. I was heartbroken. We were really good friends. When my friend Carol died on the 16th of December 2010, not 2 weeks before Christmas, I cannot begin to describe the pain of her death. She had a letter from the DWP saying she'd been overpaid benefits and she owed them several £1,000s she could not pay. She had bipolar. The letter sent her over the edge. She left a note, left the letter on the table, went to my local train station and jumped to her death. On Christmas Eve, the day of her funeral, we lit a paper lantern and released it into the sky. Her death put me in my local psychiatric inpatient unit not 2 weeks later. The fear of the constant weight of that letter caused me to become so stressed and anxious, I could not bear the words Atos, DWP, Ian Duncan Smith or anything. It was not until several months later that I started having overwhelming problems with tiredness and fatigue and dreadful pain in my joints. That in 2012 I was diagnosed with the autoimmune disease rheumatoid arthritis. My immune system was attacking itself, and with it, it pretty much took my independence overnight. I went through the WCA process in May 2012, and it was the most horrendous experience. Within a few months, I was notified that I was placed in a support group, but not before I was put back in hospital beforehand. That is what the WCA process did to me. Hospitalised me, scared the hell out of me, and gave me an additional impairment, rheumatoid arthritis. I have seen so many friends who can't take any more to this government die, starve, be evicted from their homes due to the bedroom tax, loss of benefits and services, been spat at in the street, friends in wheelchairs pushed into oncoming traffic, all because they are disabled. But the public see us as scroungers, work shy and fraudsters. The government caused my breakdown. I live with war every day. Little did I know 20 years ago, despite my campaigning then, that disabled people would be in a battle and a war against this government over our rights for access to services and benefits. Disabled people are human beings, and we have a proud history of resistance and fighting back. Despite everything I have been through, and believe me, I've been through hell and back, I am damn proud to be fighting alongside my disabled brothers and sisters in the fight for our rights. And I know only this battle will be a long one, but the battle can be won. Thank you very much.
Tell you a very poignant telling of your story. Thank you.